Just got back from CES and honestly, I just want to relax, chill out, and watch some stuff on my Hisense projector. But Hisense brought their biggest and greatest innovations to CES 2024, and some of their products are real movers and shakers. So it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here's a look at everything that they brought to the show floor this year at the Consumer Electronics Show in this video sponsored by Hisense. Once again, a big thanks to Hisense for having me at their booth for an extended look at their announcements and for sponsoring this video. As per usual, Hisense is all about their displays. It's easy to see this at the booth with their biggest TVs front and center. Before I get to these, however, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a display of their 76-inch super thin televisions, which were right behind the huge ones. But those big TVs were the latest flagship model, the 110UX, a mini LED TV that provides one of the largest high-quality viewing experiences out there. Color, contrast, and that high brightness of up to 10,000 nits are all achieved via 40,000 backlight zones, ensuring that any portion of the image can be finely tuned as needed. Minimizing backlight bleed and increasing contrast are important as part of any television, and now there's so much viewing area getting that treatment. But further down the booth was a bunch of art on the wall, only some of it was actually being presented on yet another TV concept that Hisense brought to the show. That's right, the larger frames on the wall were actually television sets, which fooled me and plenty of booth goers at first. These are the CanvasTV, a new lineup from Hisense that quite literally blends artsy aesthetic with technology. Now, while there are some CanvasTVs that are on a stand like this right here, what's been so interesting is how all of these pieces of art that are on the wall have been actually tricking people. That's because this right here in the middle, this is an actual CanvasTV. That's right, even with this wood finish here on the frame and the matted screen that makes this look like a literal painting, you can actually use this portion as a TV. One thing that you'll notice on these CanvasTVs is the lack of glare on the display. Hisense are using a very effective anti-glare matted screen so that any reflections can be minimized and in some cases totally eliminated. The frames are customizable wood finishes, providing chances for viewers to make their TV match any aesthetics in their personalized houses or spaces. For now, the CanvasTV is still considered a bit of a concept, but the wall-mounted version of this unit is going to be made available in the US a little bit later this year. Because of that, I don't have the hard specifications on the more TV side of the CanvasTV. I can tell you that the mounting point will have 0 gaps in the mount. That way it does actually look like a frame that is up on your wall. After that, the cable management is integrated into the cabinet of the CanvasTV, and then there will be a USB-C hub that will run all of your essential ports and thus all of the different cables from the peripherals you might want to use with the TV away from it so that you don't have to break the illusion of the art TV style that the CanvasTV is trying to provide. Hisense showed off the CanvasTV in a pretty effective way, having booth goers take a quick selfie and generate AI portraits in super artsy styles that were then displayed on the TV set on the wall. I went ahead and got 4 portraits done, all of which were showing me off in some pretty radical ways, and once it showed up on the CanvasTV, dare I say it was a work of art. Let me know if you think that actually looks like me in the comments, and if you'd like to sport the CanvasTV as your main TV set to get real classy. Moving over to the Hisense laser TVs, which are fantastic ways of getting the big screen cinema experience. As you can see behind me, I'm actually using the Hisense PX2 Pro as a home theater after finally getting into short throw projectors last year, with the 100-inch ALR or ambient light rejecting screen here mounted on my wall. But what if you want to minimize this kind of theater setup even further? Well, that's where the rollable laser TV makes a ton of sense. The rollable concept here shows a way of tucking away and basically protecting the screen when needed, only to have it come back up when it's time to enjoy some shows or movies. Hisense's rollable laser TV is the industry's first Fresnel invisible ALR screen that rejects 90% of ambient light, which helps lead to an up to 200% brightness boost. If you remember my video on the Hisense L5G, the ALR screen is essential to having great viewing experiences in rooms even during daylight scenarios. Smart controls enable one-touch lifting or hiding, and you can see how the projector is actually able to render the image on the screen accordingly as it is moving in and out of its stand. This is something that greatly simplifies the setup of a laser TV, since the traditional method of mounting an ALR screen like this on the wall can be really involved. Personally, I really want something like that to pair with my PX2 Pro at home. But the actual image of the laser TV is getting an update as well, thanks to Hisense's partnership with Barco Bright, a brand that is bringing their cinema-level tech to the home theater. Now, the darker areas of the booth did show off their dynamic light steering, and I'm doing my best to really capture it in these shots. The tech is really interesting, but also really technical, so here's a simple way of looking at it. Dynamic light steering to projectors is a little bit like OLED or full array dimming on actual televisions, where the projection can actually be catered to provide adequate light to the brighter portions of the image while greatly dimming the darker areas. Barco Bright achieves this by literally steering the light from the projector source to where it is needed, resulting in brighter highlights and darker black levels, essentially giving these projectors a ton of dynamic range. The demo showed off a number of scenes that would need that dynamic range, like car chases at night, where you would want the dark portions to be true to life, while the bright headlights and flashes penetrate the scene effectively. That's real HDR right there. Seeing this kind of technology come alongside Hisense's already fantastic trichroma laser TV tech could make for some of the best cinema-like experiences available in the home. And finally, we move from the home to the road, quite literally. This was quite the surprise actually, as Hisense put a car concept on their booth this year at CES. Laser TVs are already a great thing to have in the home, but the nature of the technology can make a lot of sense in an automobile, and that's exactly what they wanted to show here. What you're looking at in the car is a completely Hisense-driven display experience, from the more traditional screens in the dash to the projections happening all over the place otherwise. First off, you have the heads-up display that provides essential information right on the windshield glass, helping drivers out without having to take eyes off the road. After that, projectors then adorn images on the side and rear windows, really elevating the in-car entertainment. So in this automobile concept, which by the way won a CES Innovation Award, what we have here is a concept car where all of the displays, yes, including these right here, which are not laser TVs, are powered by Hisense. So we're basically in a car right now that is trying to show everything possible that can be displayed within. If I get into the passenger seat right now, there's actually a display right here that gives a heads-up display. And then of course, like I said, these screens down here are all Hisense powered. Behind me is a projection, a laser TV projection that is going onto the rear window. And basically Hisense is envisioning a future where we have autonomous vehicles where those rear seats are going to turn around. And if you have kids in the back seat, for example, they can go ahead and just watch something on that rear display. And because it is a laser TV, then you can turn it off and still be able to use the window as a proper window. That's the advantage of using laser TV over actual displays embedded into the windows. That way you can still have all the visibility that you need for an automobile. And then over here on the side is the same exact concept, being able to use the laser TV on a side window so that you have more than one place compared to the front to have a lot of infotainment available. But honestly, I think the craziest display that I'm really enjoying watching is the one that's actually outside of the car, because on the front of this Hisense concept automobile is a projector, and if you are able to drive this car up to some sort of large display, well then you have your own portable and movable drive-in theater. Laser TVs are a great way of getting the high quality of a television without all of the hardware that is needed for it. It just sort of reimagines how you can get that same display and image quality in various different places, and this is a great example of all of that. Just put the projectors, the high quality Hisense projectors, in more places than you would expect. I think the most practical thing that's in this car that I wish I had in mind is the laser projection for a heads-up display. If we were able to have something like that you could just attach onto the dash and then have a heads-up display while driving, I think that'd be pretty dope. And I think with lasers by Hisense, it is definitely possible, even for cars that we have today. And so, there you have it. A big thanks to Hisense for sponsoring this video and letting me check out all of the demos at CES 2024. There was even more from the booth that I did not cover in this video, like their display blending using two of their smaller smart projectors, a gaming setup that used multiple screens for an immersive experience, and even Hisense screens found in the kitchen. But in this video, I wanted to give you the big highlights from their booth on the show floor, like the fun CanvasTV and a potential future where we have Hisense projectors literally on the road. But with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for kicking it with me again today. As I get through my CES 2024 content, please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody. Now it's time for me to get back to watching stuff on the Hisense projector here and rest up after the craziness that was Las Vegas.